everybody, welcome to my first episode of On the Painting Table. So you guys have always been sort of messaging me, and I've been getting questions in my sit and talk or my Q&A show about whether or not I'll ever bring back the machine shop. People have been telling me the things that were sort of their favorite elements of the machine shop, and I've been trying to figure out how to do that. Now the thing with the machine shop was it was weekly, which makes it a challenge for me because I have, you know, a commitment to 5 pieces of content a week. Anything I add on top of that, if I'm not doing something at the same time that's helping to basically move the co-op forward, so I'm not painting miniatures, preparing scenery, whatever, it makes it really hard. The machine shop itself is probably going to come back with a different name and be different, and it's more likely not going to be a podcast. I actually talk about it in the Q&A show you're about to watch, Piece of Ash, episode 8. Someone asked me about it, and I talk about the fact that I've made a Podbean account, and I'm going to host it on YouTube and Podbean so people can listen to it in whatever format. And what that'll let me do is record it at night, at home, and then just upload it when I need to. So, and I can have guests on too, because I can do it online. I can do like a sit and chat with people that I know in the industry, just really clever and smart people that know more about stuff than I do. So that is the plan for that. But there was a segment that people ask about all the time in the machine shop called On the Painting Table, which I'd always do at the end of the machine shop. And that I can bring back because that takes about 5 minutes to shoot. I just need to put stuff out, talk about it real quick, and then show you guys what I'm working on. And I will do the machine shop probably, or the On the Painting Table, probably weekly. I can probably fit it in, you know, 5 minutes at the beginning or the end of shooting a battle report during the week. And I'll try and do it as often as I can. So no promises of it being weekly, but I do think that it's, if you guys like it, it's easy to do. It's something I can fit in, but I'll just make it its own show, its own little playlist, and you guys can watch as we go along. So this week's On the Painting Table is on the probably biggest project I've done since I did This Is Not a Test for an indie game, and it's going to be on Frostgrave. So I've been crazy busy getting stuff ready for the Frostgrave Open League. You guys really enjoyed the Mordheim Open League, and so I'm going to do Frostgrave the same way. I'll probably do an initial series of 3 games like I did for This Is Not a Test, and then it'll pop up, and you'll see stuff happen in between it probably. There'll be other games that'll pop up, indie games. I'll do short series on them, and they'll come back. But Frostgrave you'll probably see quite a bit of because you guys like the Warbands stuff. You like the progression stuff, and it's an easy game for people to come in and play with me. Because all you need is a few miniatures, 10 miniatures, I'll have everything else, and yeah, consider this already the open invite to come play Frostgrave with me. Just shoot me a message on my Facebook page, facebook.com/outofthebasement-into-the-streets, or email me at guerrillaminiaturegames@gmail.com. If you want to come to the co-op and play a couple games of Frostgrave, I will have stuff ready to go all the time. I'm also doing a PDF for running the Open League because Frostgrave isn't necessarily as sort of designed for that. It's more designed for a small group of friends to play it together all at the same time and to work out how they balance it. An Open League where people come and go, there's going to need to be some balancing stuff. So I'm going to make a quick PDF of rules for what to do if there's uneven levels between wizards and stuff like that, and we'll figure that stuff out, and you guys can talk to me about it if you want to come in and play. But yeah, let's stop me blathering. We'll take a look at what I've been working on for Frostgrave, what's yet to be done. The project is so close to being not done. It's so close to being so that I can film Frostgrave. Like, that's where we're at right now, is that I have probably about another day's worth of, maybe a couple hours worth of stuff to do, and I can actually start actively inviting people in. So I feel safe doing this and then inviting people in because I should be able to be ready to go and play when this goes up, or at least close enough that if someone schedules a game with me, it won't be that night and I can get ready to go and stuff. So let's have a look at what we got, what I've been working on, and how it's, you know, sort of like progressing. Here's what I've gotten done so far for Frostgrave. Now, this was enough that I felt safe saying, hey, we have enough terrain that we can safely play games and people can come in and start playing. There's a lot of scenario-specific terrain too that I've made, and this was a very quick build. So for those of you interested, unfortunately, a lot of what you're seeing here is out of production. This fountain, the 2 GW towers, this rune right here and this rune right here are from the Battlefield in the Box series by Warlord. The towers are by GW. The trees are from Battlefield in the Box, and I think they're all discontinued, or at least not currently in print. So you might have a hard time getting them, but they've all been repainted just to match this Alpine mat from Fat Mats, which I was super happy with. Now the rest of it I know you can get because it's all aquarium terrain and maybe lizard terrain. I think this is a lizard piece of terrain. These are aquarium pieces. These bridges are aquarium pieces. And they are just from PetSmart. So if there's a PetSmart in your area, you can probably find these exact same terrain pieces, and they cost me almost nothing. What they were is I've just sort of detailed them, put them on bases, put some stone and some rock and stuff on them, and then I've repainted all of them. And there's my Frostgrave terrain. So The idea behind my Frostgrave trains, I wanted to look like Skyrim. So if you guys have played the video game Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, everything is going to have that kind of theme. In fact, I may just set the game completely in Skyrim, in the city of Feldgas. It's been uncovered. And then the remainder of what I had to do was making terrain for scenarios. And there's quite a bit of it. There's 10 scenarios. I'll probably make the terrain for 9 of them, because there's only one that doesn't exist outdoors. There's a library piece where you're actually underground. And I don't want to make a whole other separate table of terrain. So I'll probably replace that one on the table with just the general mission, which is the sort of the Frostgrave scenario where you're fighting for treasure. And the rest of them will be the sort of outdoor alpine terrain setup. I may also snow these trees on the base, but I actually think they look fine if I just put them on the exposed rock. That seems to work. So the pieces of terrain I made for scenario. First, there's 6 treasure counters. You have to have 6 treasure counters. These are all just basing kit bits, Lord of the Rings bits, and just other general pieces. You need 4 teleport pads. I just bought some wooden discs from Michael's, like a DIY shop. And then I used epoxy sculpt to sculpt the cobbles and the designs in. And then I just painted them. You need 6 statues for a scenario here. These are Ashmen from Ashmen. And then some wooden basing bits from Michael's again. The Ashmen from Wrath of Kings. You know, Wizard's Tower, I was very lucky that my buddy Jordan Cameron, who you've seen play Dark Age with me, and Epic with me as well, probably, he had these. Like, he just had them for Mordheim, and he was like, here, you're gonna do the Frostgrave thing? Awesome, give them to me. Or I'll give them to you, and you can just paint them up, and we'll use them. Because he'll be playing in the campaign, so he was not doing anything with them, and he donated them to the cause. So the rest of this stuff was just built and painted by me. I rebased all the bridges and stuff, made the sort of frozen water underneath, because it actually matches what's on the mat, which I thought was pretty cool. And yeah, we're ready to play. So let's take a look at what isn't finished. Actually, sorry, even before we do that, let's take a look at my warband as it's sort of coming along. This is my Sigilus warband. So he's a wizard of words. His whole thing is he uses like power words and stuff. He's got his apprentice there. They're both by Reaper. I've got an Otherworld adventurer here. He's a treasure hunter. And then I've got 4 of the new Frostgrave plastics. This is a thug, an archer, and a crossbowman. And that's using this frame right here. So if you haven't checked it out yet, you get 4 of these in a box. So this is the Frostgrave Soldiers box. My buddy Chris, I had the hardest time getting these because they weren't in Canada yet. My buddy Chris, like kind of for my birthday, just broke down and ordered us all boxes. So I think he ordered 2 boxes and he split them between me and my buddies from back in Toronto that are all interested in Frostgrave. And yeah, I've got 1 left to build. And I'll probably build some like men-at-arms and infantrymen out of them. But we've got 4 already done up for some bowmen and stuff. And I got a bunch of other Otherworld miniatures too. But yeah, if you want to take a look at the frame, if you haven't seen it before, you get 5 bodies per frame, a ton of heads, and then just tons of weapon options and weapon arms. If you guys also have like the Empire Militia box, it's perfectly adaptable to this. Like they both fit together basically exactly. And you've got guys in like cool kind of outdoorsy winter medieval gear, which fit the Frostgrave look perfectly. The bases I did myself, you guys checked out my Facebook page. These are 30mm lipped bases that, beveled bases that I just punched Plasticard, which again I'm running out of, and both the places I used to buy it at are now either out of business or don't stock it anymore. So I just punched some textured cobblestone Plasticard, and I may put some snow in there afterwards too. My buddy Chris has been hassling me about putting some snow in there. I'll do some snow on the treasure bases as well, just to make them match the table a little bit more, but I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. So let's look at what isn't finished. What isn't finished is my second sorcerer. So this is my evil sorcerer. He's a summoner. And he's got his pig demon here, the swine demon, which is also from Wrath of Kings. And I converted it up a little bit with some horns and a big axe. He's by Reaper, he's from Wrath of Kings. I've got a bunch of Otherworld soldiers. This is an apothecary. I've got a Templar by Reaper. 2 knights from Otherworld, and then a marksman. He's got a crossbow on his back. And a barbarian, who I believe is also from Reaper. And they gotta get painted still. So these are all my alternates, because what happens is you kind of start with the Goombas when you play Frostgrave, and as you have more money, you upgrade to these more expensive guys. So these are all the like 100 gold guys as opposed to like the 20 gold thugs that I'll be hiring and adding to my warband later on. So I gotta get these 6 painted for when I expand. So I need to paint at least 2 or 3 of them before I start playing, just in case I earn the gold where I can do it. This is the book itself. I bought 2 copies, one for me and then one for the co-op. So just always one sitting here if co-op members wanted to borrow it or if we had people come in and we needed one. And then these, I have 2 heroic people to thank for this. Darren Lowett in Calgary, he's an old buddy of mine from Games Workshop, and Josh Abig, actually, ironically, also an old buddy of mine from Games Workshop. Both had extra Mines of Moria bits laying around they weren't doing anything with, and they sent them to me so I get these pillars, because there's a scenario where you need pillars. And what I'm probably going to do, the idea is that the pillars are all hiding treasure, is I'll put treasure counters on top of them, and then have some like glowing runes or stuff on the side, because you're supposed to fight the pillar, like you do basically like an encounter with the pillar to try and get it off it. And the idea I'm going to have is that you're climbing it and there's some kind of like mystical defense or whatever on there. I got some just ladders and walkways. These be useful for more time too, but for one of the the tower scenarios, you have to have 2 other pieces of terrain linked to different levels with some walkways. So I had to make these as well. They just need to be dry brushed and painted and stuff. And that's enough to play. So when these are done, I'll have 6 scenarios finished. I'll have the fountain, I'll have the wizard's tower, I'll have the pillars, I'll have the statue. Actually, sorry, I need to make one more piece of terrain that's not done yet. I have to do some ruins for the statues to go into. But I'll have the statues, I'll have the teleport pad one, and then finally I'll have the generic mission. So we'll be able to D6 instead of D20 for the missions in the beginning. And that'll give us options to play. But it's enough that, you know, I cranked all this out in basically 3 days of painting and building. So it was kind of a Herculean effort, but I wanted to get the game going. This is going to allow us to film. So there you go. That's what's been on my painting table, is this big, huge project here. It's the biggest project I've done so far for building and painting something for a game. And there's still a bit of ways to go. But when it's done, we can film you guys some Frostgrave. All right, so there you go. This was my first on the painting table. You guys can see a big project that I do. I hope that puts in perspective. A lot of times when we want to bring in a new game or do something, there's kind of a lot of work that goes into it. So the next big project I'm doing like this, hopefully is going to be Necromunda. We have a really incredibly generous person who decided he wanted to see some Necromunda being played, and that was the big obstacle, was terrain. And just donating some Necromunda terrain, which I'm going to be building and painting. So you'll see another big project and build like this in the future. I have some other games that I'm going to be building terrain for, but hopefully it won't be anything this size. I can just add a few pieces to my existing terrain collection. When we do something new like this, to do it right and bring it to you guys sort of as it should be, it can be a lot of work. And I will keep you guys appraised hopefully in the future with more episodes like this of what I'm working on. So if you keep track of On the Painting Table and you subscribe to these videos, you'll probably get some insights into what I'll be bringing in the future, what kind of games I'm working on, and what kind of stuff that could be down the pipe as far as videos. So I hope this was to your liking. This was all by request, bringing back this show, or this segment of an old show, which is now a show in and of itself. We'll see you for more On the Painting Table. Until then, Zash, happy wargaming.